Okay, good morning. Did a couple of videos this morning when I was out on my walk. They just were absolutely nailing it. This idea that we've got the military industrial complex exactly where we want it. It's just fantastic. Levi gives us the keys to the car, and let's take them. And so I talked through Fibonacci and my idea that you can correct the Fibonacci at the starting point where it's ugly using Levi. And I want to try to explain that now in some detail, see if it makes some sense to you. Okay. So here we go. Let's look up here. Here's my number in sequences that I was talking about. And we see it should go 3, 2, 1, 0 for the Fibonacci sequence. This is the beginning of it. I've just drawn that this is going to be a logarithmic scale. But nonetheless, we know it goes 0, 1. It should go 1, 1, 2, 3, shouldn't it? It doesn't do that 0, 1, 2, 3. It does 1, 1, 0 at the beginning. So what I've done, I've taken the idea of the imaginary unit as being real. I've identified that it's merely a force with a different vector. I discussed it this morning about the vector being orthogonal this way and this way. Yeah, so here's one here. Look, you could say this is a perpendicular wave, that's an orthogonal wave. And that's one way you could say this is plus and this is minus and the imaginary unit. But in reality, it's just 137 arc seconds off of it. It's the only difference. So you've got, you could say this is plus and 132nd arc seconds off of it. That way, sorry, is minus. Okay. So talking it through, looking with the imaginary unit, I'm going I3, I2, I1. So 3 minus, this is minus numbers. You deal with them as minus numbers here. For Fibonacci backwards, it's 3 minus 3 and 2 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. And then you should have 2 minus 1 is 1. Reflecting what should happen on this side, 2, 1, 1. And so you've got this point in the middle where they don't join up. But you just use Levi. And there can be only one. There's only one 1. Right? 1 is 1, and all alone, and evermore shall be so. And so it goes here. So I can correct the Fibonacci if I pretend that I can put a 1 there. There's no 0. Minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. That should be 5, sorry. Correct that. There you go, makes sense. Fibonacci, yeah? 2 and 3 is 5. 2 and 3 is 5. So this is, we're correcting here. So that feels really cheating, doesn't it? To say, well, let's just not have 0. But you can use Levi to explain the 0 because 0 is motion. There's no 0 in quantum. It's just motion. And so I did a quick cross-section from Levi. You remember Levi's AB5, my extension to AB6 with the 6 cases and the 6 load cases. And that's replicated here, showing the movement. And then that creates the yin-yang shape of forces. It's the relationship of forces at the point of separation. We know from previous videos that this section is missing. They don't match with each other. This is the wave in this location. It moves to this location. In order for this to start again, that hole needs to be filled. For that to be that, those 3 to be that 3. So that this one becomes light in there. Okay. And that we then get the motion so that you can bring that, I ran out of room. So I'll go to this is the motion then of the yin yang inside at 0, all happening, all from Levi, all just Levi. Okay. And it means that at 0, where there should be a 0, there isn't one. And that's our scale, it just joins together. But you split the 1. Splitting the atom is splitting the number 1. And it looks like this. So if I look at it, if I look at my number 1, from this direction, I see the negative. If I look at it from this direction, I see the positive. Yeah. So it goes 3, 2, 2 and 1. 2 and 1 should be, it sees the additional 1, and 2 goes to 1 from that direction. So the line is coming in, and I've drawn it as a logarithmic base E. Because it's E to the I, the angular momentum, and pi takes us right back to our, where we were with our Euler's identity from yesterday. Yeah, Euler's identity. Here it is. I was just saying I, E, pi. In fact, it's all EI angular momentum there. I'm just trying to split them out so you can see how Euler's identity is created. That was all it was. And so in recognizing Euler's identity here within the one, you can create an entirely new set of mathematics with Leve at its heart. And then you can see what I've put here is, look, so the Revelations talks about a man coming with a number. And I've thought this for some time. The number is 666. This dimension, right? The duration of the moment, of this moment, you need to look down for that, not up, right? The duration of 0 is h seconds. 6.6 something blah, 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 times 10 to the minus 34 seconds. Now, because they've corrupted the speed of light to the meter standard, that's not working. So they've corrupted the speed of light in 1983 to link it to the meter standard and the speed of light are the same thing, so it's irrelevant. So you can no longer know what h is. It's hidden. It's fraud. It's crime. And so I don't know what it is, but I think it's 6.66 is its maximum. 2 pi is its perfection. 6.2 blah blah. Perfection. Spheres working together. 6.66 means it's so baggy. And then I did it so you see what I mean, how little it means. So there's a perfect sphere in green and the current measure of h in red. And they're very little difference. Look how different they are in terms of elliptical to sphere. But it just makes all the difference in the world because you're talking about quantum. There's a relationship with the energy that creates this. When it goes from 0 to 1, it's going from not quite 0 to not quite 1. And so there's a power of a power relationship that lives in here, which is the square. Wow. So, yeah, I think that's probably a bit muddled. But I'm going to leave it there because I like to try and do these things live. If you see how much stuff I have, if you could see what I've got here in these books, in terms of just what lives here, in terms of how hard we are trying here. Okay. As the pirates of physics, to create an entirely new mathematics. Just come back to the end. So this is an artistic representation of the yin-yang that happens at 0. The space above the wave, the equator is the surface, and it's got a wave on it. Above the wave, under the firmament, is a meter to the minus cube. It's a vacuum. The surface is then a combination of meter squared and second squared trying to arrange itself, and it can't. They are totally incompatible, so it sets up this arrangement of 2 whirlpools. There's a whirlpool here, heading to that hole, and there's a whirlpool underneath, going into that hole. And it's the cycle of light and water at quantum scale. You can fit in the surface area's work when you arrange. These are the 2 whirlpools. I think I talked about this. I didn't draw it quite right, but you can see here's one whirlpool extending to that whirlpool. There's that whirlpool extending into that whirlpool. The surface area of all this will match up with what it should be. It's perfect 2 pi arrangement because it's trying to be a straightforward flat surface, but the relationship of forces is such that it must rearrange itself, and it settles on that. Incredibly complex arrangement, but one that can be read with Leve. 1915. Now, science is lying. All scientists are either liars or fools, and dismiss them accordingly. They're jumping sides, they're working with engineers and helping us to fix the thing, that's fine. That's what we need them to do, to make up for the decisions that they've made and the choices that they've made in their lives. So it's fine, it's all forgiveness. The beauty here is step forward into the future, leave it all behind. But the new future is based on love, on a planet with no suffering. 0 suicides on New Earth. Welcome aboard. Pirates on the bridge.